Hello everybody, my name is Lewis. This is another episode of Man Bites Film. This week we are going to be reviewing two great films that I just saw on Netflix and I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the last few episodes that we've done and all that stuff. I want to wrap it up for you. So pretty much I found a CD. It literally fell on my lap with a watch, which was very interesting. And when I saw the video, it's basically the footage that I showed you guys. The video of the thing falling from the sky and all that stuff I recorded afterwards, but this is all footage that I found on that CD that was sent to me. And I wanted to share it because holy crap, that was an interesting story. Interesting series of events. Kind of makes me think twice about Brandon, but interesting nonetheless. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment and enjoyed that little series and everything. So I want to go into the first film, and this is called Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. This is an anthology film. Both of these films are actually anthology films, and this one has three different stories in it. The first one is Lot 249, and it's basically a mummy horror film about this guy, this nerdy dude in a college that he's being harassed and all that stuff by this bully kid and all that, and he's in love with this girl that obviously is dating the bully. So he's like obsessed with the fact that he didn't get the scholarship and he lost it to this fucker, and he decides to find this artifact, and he collects artifacts. Let me just put that out there first. And he finds this artifact that's this mummy, and it has a scroll that brings to life the mummy, and circumstances happen. So you guys have to watch the movie to understand all the different scenarios that occur, but the characters in this film are really interesting. It doesn't feel forced for the fact that it's like basically talking about college. A lot of these films from the early 80s, 90s have like this very warped perspective about college kids and all that stuff. You think Animal House, or like I don't even know what else basically, but you think of stupid frat kids, and this film doesn't fall into those cliches, which is actually very interesting. The next one is Cat from Hell, and this is a killer cat that's in this mansion, and this old guy hires this assassin to kill a cat, which is very interesting. How like the assassin's like, are you joking? Is this a freaking joke? This can't be true, you know, there's no way. And the old man's like, and the whole story unfolds about why he needs to kill this cat. And this cat is pretty freaking awesome. Like, I'm like, damn, I remember seeing this when I was a child, and I'm like, maybe that's why I hated cats so long. You know, between this and like Reanimator and stuff like that, you kind of hate cats or are afraid of cats, you know. So it kind of gives me a perspective of maybe why I disliked cats when I was a child. So this one is great too. The story is very interesting because obviously it's a killer cat. I mean, come on, that's freaking cool. The characters, the assassin guy is kind of out there. The old man doesn't do a good job with it, I think. I think he has this kind of weird persona, and I just didn't know what to do with it. So, it's okay. The music is non-existent in this one at all. And the gore is kind of blah. But this is not the main feature, I think. This is the middle story. You're getting over Lot 249, and you go into this next one, which is Lover's Vow. Lover's Vow is this writer that he... not a writer, I'm sorry, a painter that actually is failing. He sucks, apparently. And he's like... just got dumped by his agent, and his agent literally just told him, you suck, I will not do any of your paintings. I will not sell any of your paintings anymore. So, you're fired. Goodbye. And then walks out of the bar. He ends up drinking himself stupid. The bartender helps him out type of thing and is walking him out, and something attacks and kills the bartender, and he's freaking the hell out, and he's like, what the hell is this? And then this thing appears. Death, I guess you could say, that's what it is. And Death gives him a promise. Do not say my name. Do not tell anybody about me. Do not do this. Do not do that. And you will stay alive. And he promises he'll follow these things. Shortly thereafter, his life comes together. It's like all the pieces in his life finally fall into place. Awesome. Awesome story. Great premise. Great characters. Awesome twist in the story at the end. It's such a cool reveal at the end, and you're like, what? Wow. That is awesome. This is actually based on two novels, short stories, I guess you could say. One's by Stephen King. The other one is by Arthur Conan Doyle, which is the writer of Sherlock Holmes. And Tom Savini did a huge role in this. And he's basically the one that did all the makeup for this. And if anybody knows anything about horror, Tom Savini is the man. He is the god of horror. Him and George Romero, which are both involved in this. And Tom Savini even went to the extent of saying that this is Creepshow 3. That's how good of a film this was to him. I give this... That's a rough one. I want to say Lot 249 is a 7 out of 10. Cat from Hell is a 2 out of 10. And Lover's Vow is a 9 out of 10. And the overarching story on this is very interesting because it starts off with this kid that he's about to get cooked. And that's the reason I wanted to show this film, because of Thanksgiving coming up, and he's literally going to be cooked like a turkey. So that's very interesting, and it's just very funny to put as a Thanksgiving, film. So it's stopping the crazy lady that's about to cook him. He's telling these stories, and that's what these 3 stories are coming from. It's the book of the Tales from the Dark Side that he's reading to the woman to entertain her, to prevent him from getting killed. So that's the whole story of Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. So please check this one out on Netflix. It's an easy access, easy to watch. So check that one out. Next one that I want to do is Extraordinary Tales. This is awesome. I watched this by sheer chance. I fell across it on Netflix like I usually do, and this is a 2015 animated film that circulates around the stories of Edgar Allan Poe. Alright? It tells the story of 5 different short stories of Edgar Allan Poe, but not in the way that you've ever seen in your life before. This is actually told straight from the book. I mean, literally word for word from his poems, from everything. There's another anthology film, and it's narrated and animated, the actual story-wise. The first animated film is The Fall of the House of Usher, which is narrated by Christopher Lee. Holy crap, this man is a legend. Alright, this man is one of the most influential horror film personalities, right up there with another one that's on here. And it's so good. The animation is so spot on for the house, the fall of the House of Usher. This is one of my favorite Edgar Allan Poe short stories. And the fact that this was done in this animation as the first one and narrated by Christopher Lee, holy crap, I was in heaven when I started watching this. And the fact that it was straight from the story, I mean literally words for word, it was beautiful. I loved it. I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the story again. And then the music that they put in the background is so... it's so spot on and so good. If you love Edgar Allan Poe novels, books, poetry, oh my god, this is amazing. And you gotta watch this. Like, this is so good. The next one that comes up is The Telltale Heart, narrated by Bela Lugosi. And you can tell this is a very old narration put on this film and animated. And it is so cool being Bela Lugosi. I mean, come on, that's the other legend of horror. Everybody knows Bela Lugosi. I mean, he is the man when it comes to horror. Right up there with Christopher Lee, and there's a couple others on this list that you're gonna be like, wow, what? This is so good. Telltale Heart, again, just narrated straight from the book. Awesome music, awesome personalities in this, beautiful animation. There's not a single story on here that's lacking in the animation department, music department, and storytelling. Obviously is gonna be great. It's Edgar Allan Poe. The next one is The Facts in the Case of M. Valdemar, and this is Julian Sands narrating it. This one is my least favorite, honestly, out of all of them. I really don't remember this short story until I started hearing it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Forgot about that. And The Pit and the Pendulum is the next one. It's narrated by Guillermo del Toro. Again, a freaking legend in horror movies nowadays. And he does an awesome job with The Pit and the Pendulum. This is one of my favorite short stories. So the fact that it was narrated by Guillermo del Toro just added to that and built upon that. The last one is The Mask of the Red Death, and that's narrated by Roger Corman. This was awesome. This animation it's different than the other ones. It's better, I think. I just loved it. And then besides these stories, these little inserts of these stories, then there's an overarching story, and it's what actually tells the different stories. Just like the child in the Tales from the Dark Side, it's this raven that's going through a graveyard, and one of the statues of the women of Edgar Allan Poe's life, and the raven symbolizes Edgar Allan Poe after his death. And he lands on one of those statues, and he's being told by the statue the different stories. And it's so interesting, so good, such a good way to present the story, and so fitting for this role. I fell in love with this. And it was funny that I was literally talking about Edgar Allan Poe and the influence that he had on me as a child. Just a few days before watching this, and I was like, wow, this is too spot on perfect. And horror is me. I mean, that's what I like. I like horror movies. I like twisted, sadistic movies like this because they have an interesting perspective on the human psyche that I never see, and I can't relate to it. And that's interesting to me. The fact that I can't relate to these psychopaths, obviously, because I'm not a psychopath. That's debatable, but I'm not a psychopath to the extent of like Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork Orange. I'm not gonna go out there and kill people. I have a moral compass, I guess you could say. I'm not gonna do that. So falling into these horror movies and stuff like that, that catches my attention so much just because of that. Because you fall into these characters that are otherwise unrelatable, but just for those 2 hours, you fall into their world and you become part of them. That is awesome. And specific directors like Kubrick and certain guys, they can really get in your mind and dig in there and make you feel what this character feels, and that's great storytelling. Edgar Allan Poe was like that. His novels, like, wow, you fall into the characters in those couple of hours that you're reading his book. That's awesome. That's so cool. So that's why I enjoy it. That's my little tangent, I guess you could say. So please check these out: Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, and Extraordinary Tales. These two are both on Netflix, and you're able to stream right on your TV screen, phone, whatever the hell you want to watch it on. So please check them out. And of course, check out next week's episode of Man Bites Film. My name is Lewis, and I'll see you guys next week.